Hey everyone, it's Hot Dogs back with a second completion video for all of you achievement hunters and 100%ers out there. Today I'll be going over how painful and grindy it was to get every achievement on the first Left 4 Dead. This is another one of those games I've already done a playthrough of, so I had some of the achievements you get just from doing like a singular playthrough. But with that being said, I still had about 25 of the more interesting achievements to get out of the 65. But with achievements like what are you trying to prove and zombie genocidist, this was not going to be an easy or a simple task. One of the 65 achievements I still needed to get was what are you trying to prove? This was the achievement that inspired Left 4 Dead 2's Still Something to Prove, which you got by beating all 5 base campaigns on Expert. Thankfully for me, Left 4 Dead 1 only has 4 base campaigns. And while the second game has some additional challenges you have to worry about, such as more special infected like the Spitter, the Jockey, and the Charger, you also don't get some of those pros here in the first game that the second one had, such as a larger weapon variety, mainly the melee weapons that you get, and also some other things like equipment like the boomer bile and the defibrillator and adrenaline shot. So both games are still very challenging in their own ways.
To anyone who can hear this, proceed to Mercy Hospital for evacuation. Repeat, proceed to Mercy Hospital for evacuation.
The subway can take us straight to Mercy Hospital.
So for the first campaign for Expert, me and my friend, we already beat it a few months ago, so I didn't have any footage of it. So to get you guys some footage and not skip any of the campaigns, I decided to team up with 3 of the world's best Left 4 Dead players to help me through this first campaign. Who are the world's greatest Left 4 Dead players, you may ask? Well, they're none other than Francis, Bill, and Lewis. Yeah, I teamed up with the AI to get some footage for this first campaign, and it's as bad as it sounds. The first 2 levels, they weren't that bad actually, but they are the first 2 levels of the game, so I got past them pretty easily without even having to restart. And it wasn't until we got to the 3rd level where I started realizing that this probably wasn't a good idea. I struggled a good bit on this 3rd level right at the end where you go into the sewers. It's kind of like a maze, and oftentimes a tank spawns down there, so if you don't have that entire underground passage mapped out from years of playing, then it adds a lot to the challenge factor. And I don't have that part memorized, so I ended up dying down there quite a few times. And I eventually did beat it though, and we got on to the 4th chapter, and then you could really see why this was definitely a game meant to be played with real people. The AI is just atrocious. I feel like the developers, they purposely made the AI terrible so you'd want to play with real people. That's just how bad they are. Like this part right here, I shoot a gas can because there's a horde of zombies coming. They have shot at Francis on top of it, but the other 2 characters, they had no excuse. They just ran into the fire and downed themselves for no reason. And to add to that, they shoot the witch for no reason. And of course, they're all down, so who's the witch come for? Me. And kills me and ends our run right there, right before the safe room. Thankfully, it only took me another try or 2 before we got to the finale. And that's really where the frustration and agitation came in. That was one of the worst things I've ever put myself through. The Survivor AI just does not help you at all, and this is a team game, so you really need your teammates to be there and helping you, especially whenever you get like snared by a hunter or a smoker. Yeah, I do know that people do like solo expert runs, but those people, they have some hours in this game, like quite a few hours that I do not have. I really like this game, but I just don't have thousands of hours in it to do solo expert runs. So that's why I need my teammates to help me. And these bots, they honestly do not really help you at all, especially for the finale. And there's quite a few times where I would get to the end and almost get into the helicopter and something stupid would happen. Like I get grabbed off the ramp to the helicopter by a smoker or just swarmed by zombies at the last second. And I'll be honest, I did not beat this campaign on solo expert. It was just too difficult. Um, like I said, me and my friend, we beat it a few months ago, and that's good enough for me. I just wanted to get you guys some footage for this first campaign. I wasn't going to put myself through any more torture than what it already was to play with the Survivor AI as your teammates. Thankfully, I was able to get a couple of the achievements knocked out of the way on this playthrough. Right here, I got ground cover, which you get for saving a survivor from a special infected while you're down or in cap. And I was also able to get the Red Mist achievement, which you get for killing 1,000 zombies with mounted machine guns, which I didn't try to get either, but they're just one of those achievements that usually you can get without even trying to get. And here is me and the survivors on easy, making it out of the campaign. I just loaded up this last finale on easy just so I'd have some footage of the end right here. But that out of the way, we are on to campaign 2 out of 4. Up next, we have the Death Toll campaign. For this campaign and the rest, I teamed up again with my buddy from the last video, Sacred Luck. And it was really nice having another teammate on my team, even if they're just generally better than the AI. I'm just kidding. No, it's very helpful having another human teammate on your team. Like I demonstrated earlier, these campaigns on Solo Expert are just crazily insane. It probably would have taken me 10 times as long to beat these campaigns on Solo Expert. So it is nice having someone to play through these, someone that you can, just have fun doing it with too. It doesn't have to be a chore to get all these achievements. Anyways, the first level of this campaign was pretty easy, as is most of the first levels of the campaigns. It's pretty straightforward. Just go along this road through like a tunnel in the mountain on a turnpike, and that's that. Beat it on our first try, and we're on to the second level, which was also very easy. The second level, entitled The Drains, because, well, you travel through a bunch of giant drains and it's like sewer system for the town you're in. And this is one of the more, I think, interesting levels in terms of like layout and design. I kind of like it. You're like traveling through these giant cylindrical drainage tubes, and I just think that it's kind of unique. I don't ever remember seeing this like any other game or anything like that. But as with just about all the campaigns, this was another one of the easier first levels. It didn't take us very long or much, and Zoe just fucking killed herself right here. I don't know why. Here's my teammate's point of view. Yeah, like I said, the AI is really bad in this game. They can't even fucking go up the ladders or down the ladders, right? That's how terrible they are. But after we go through some tunnels, some sewage pipes, whatever, we get to the crescendo event of the level where you just have to wait for like this platform to lower. And it's easy. We had pipe bombs on us. There's 2 extra pipe bombs in this corner here. And just threw a couple of those and killed the zombies there. So you can't really get swarmed as long as you're paying attention. So pretty easy. Eventually you go outside and you go on these train tracks into the train into the safe room. For the third level, we're back outside again, and we're back on the road again through like this sparsely populated back roadish country little village area. And since it's number 3 on the list of levels, it does get a lot harder. I don't know what it is about the number 3, but in the Left 4 Dead campaigns, that's when you can expect the difficulty level to ramp up quite a bit. I don't know why. It's always the 3rd level, sometimes the 4th level, maybe the second level. Usually the third level though is when it starts to get really hard. And I guess it does have to get challenging at some point. I mean, we are on expert after all, and we're deeper into the story and the campaign. But after going through these buildings, we come across this church, and I try to unsuccessfully crown this witch, which never works for me, never, but she's in the way. And next time we come here, we come across this definitely not crazy man.
Go away! No one gets in! Mister, if one of us gets killed out here, I'm gonna shoot my way in there and beat you to death with my gun!
Trying to intimidate me? Get in help! Ding dong! Ding dong! Dinner served! Come and get it!
After our definitely not crazy church friend decides to set off the church bells, alerting every zombie in a 5-mile radius to our position, I know how kind of him. We, of course, have to pull out this spot and kill said zombies. So it's just another like little holdout, survive the horde of zombie type deal. So nothing that we haven't seen before, but nonetheless, it still is pretty challenging, and we do fail a few times. This clip, I'm already dead. I died from that witch earlier, and since I'm dead, the whole team's gonna die. It's just how it works. I am the team. Without me, they're all dead. I'm the brain, the bronze, the everything. They need me. I'm just kidding. But we do end up killing all the zombies and the hordes eventually. What did you expect? We're the best. Of course we're gonna kill all the zombies and beat the level eventually, right? Even if it takes us 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 tries, we're the best. Anyways, we get the prompt to open the safe room door, but there's a surprise waiting for us inside. Yep, our church buddy, he must not have been immune and must have been bitten and turned into this lovely hunter who had quickly taken 80 of my health before we put him out of his misery. That's okay. We're in the safe room and we're moving on to the 4th chapter. So we're almost done with the campaign. Now we are back outside fighting our way through the town of Riverside, which is actually based on a real town here in Pennsylvania that I lived relatively close to. Fun fact, I actually played Riverside's high school baseball team back whenever I was in high school a few years ago. So that's pretty cool. I didn't expect this town to be in this game. But anyways, this is one of those rare later levels that is very easy for it being level before the finale, which I'm not complaining about. I love easy levels. So it's pretty straightforward. You fight through the town here, and this tank, he does kill all of my teammates. But I'm able to pull out some crazy sick juking moves that I'm known for, and I dodge this tank. I skirt past him, juke him out, break his ankles, and make it into a safe room with all my teammates dead. And that brings us to the finale. The boathouse finale starts with us having to make our way through a few buildings and this park area down to the boathouse on the riverbank. And it's quite a bit of a journey there. Oftentimes, we'll have to fight a horde of zombies, or the director will fuck us over and spawn a tank in, which is kind of annoying because it's already the finale, so you'll be fighting 2 tanks anyways. So fighting a 3rd tank before we even start the finale is definitely unideal. And this is what the runs for the director fucks us over with a tank. And he proceeds to instantly down me with one of his auto-locking, heat-seeking rock throws that just comes out of nowhere through all these trees and instantly downs me. I can never dodge this. I know you can shoot the rocks out of the air, but it's easier said than done, especially on expert and on controller. It's really hard to do. The best thing to do is honestly just to get him to throw a rock while you're behind something so it doesn't actually hit you. But we do eventually make our way down to the boathouse, where like the rest of the finales in the game, you have to fight a wave of zombies and then a tank, and then a wave of zombies and then a tank. And I'll say this is probably one of the easier campaigns in the game, and it took us like 4 or 5 tries to beat. The hardest part is just killing the tanks. And the tanks kind of a douchebag because whenever he downs someone, most of the time he'll just sit there and keep pounding them while they're down and instantly kills them, which is kind of annoying because me and my teammate are both going for the same achievements, trying to 100% the game. So in order to get progress for completing the campaign on expert, you both have to be standing up or like not down or dead for it to count. If you're down or you're dead, then you don't get progress for the achievement. So the tank likes to instantly kill my teammates, and that's just basically a restart because if I make it onto the boat, then I'll get progress through the achievement, but my friend here does not. So yeah, we both have to be standing up for us both to get progress. But it's not that hard of a finale. Like I said, just killing the tank's the hardest part, and as long as you know the basics of the tanks and his moves, then he's not really that hard to kill. It's just that if you make a mistake, he will punish you for it and instantly kill you. After about 5 tries though, we were able to kill everything in both douchebag tanks, but not before he leaves my friend Sacred Luck with a departing gift of a 500-pound rock to the face. Thankfully, he was low on health and I was able to kill him pretty immediately after. But then this hunter comes out of nowhere and downs me. For some reason, my teammate throws a pipe bomb. I don't know why, but he's able to kill the hunter and revive me just in time for me to pop some of these pills so I can run faster and take a couple more hits if need be and get onto this beautiful boat that's come to our rescue. I also get the toll collector achievement here, and that's just for completing the campaign. The first time I played, my teammate probably left me behind or something. I didn't get it, but there we go. We beat the death toll campaign, and now we're on to the third one.
Imagine if I like left, you went down.
Alright, we're on campaign 3 out of 4 for our What Are You Trying to Prove achievement. This is the Dead Air campaign. It's probably the hardest in the game. It took us multiple nights of trying this, mostly due to something unfortunate happening at the end of our first run, but we'll get to that later. So we start the first chapter on this greenhouse on this rooftop where we're given supplies like pipe bombs and molotovs, which is unusual for it being the start of a campaign. We're not normally given stuff like that, but hey, it's better for us, right? And we have to make our way across these rooftops and buildings until we make our way down to street level where there is this lavish hotel with a safe room. So pretty easy and straightforward level, and just like that, we're already on to chapter 2. Chapter 2 has us going back across the rooftops, where we get to our special event pretty early on in the chapter, which just consists of us holding out until this crane lowers a dumpster so we could get it back across the building. Our strategy was to just sit up here on the crane, because you're pretty much protected from all sides besides the front, of course, so it makes defending really easy. Got these gas cans too, but you can get some more first-hand evidence of how stupid the bots are. Like, Francis just walks into the fire for no reason. Actually, he might have been got by a smoke right there, but he still could have positioned himself a little bit better. After Francis self-immolates, we get across the building where we just have to kill a few more zombies until we get back down to street level and get into the storage building where the safe room is. So another pretty easy, straightforward chapter. Now we're on that dreaded chapter 3 I mentioned earlier, where we're in the middle of a campaign and the difficulty noticeably ramps up. This area is no different. We start in some construction spot and have to shoot some gas cans to burn some debris in our way, and of course, kill some zombies while it burns. My dumbass died sometime last chapter, so I'm stuck using the shitty tier 1 shotgun until the director blesses us with some better weapons again, which makes it that much harder. So this area took us quite a few tries to beat. There's a lot of different spots the infected can get you from, and the AI doesn't follow you half the time, so they're always off doing some sort of side mission on their own until they inevitably get overwhelmed and died, forcing all the zombies that were on them to turn and attack us. Anyways, we do eventually figure out how to defend this area and make it on through the next stages of the level. There's still quite a bit of the ways to go through, like this temporary parking area where this wonderful tank spawns. We decided to try to run past him since we're close to the safe room at this part and we don't have any Molotovs. So the tank takes advantage of that and hits this jump shot and hits me with a rock from behind cover. Lovely, isn't it? He then catches up to my teammate in the parking garage and sodomizes him, causing us to have to restart again. After we get all through those areas, we make our way through a parking garage and into the safe room.
Safe house up ahead.
Luckily for us, this next level isn't as hard as the last one. We are in an airport terminal where we have to start a van that plows into a fence, creating a path for us, also alerting a small horde of zombies with the noise. I kill whatever zombies I have to and make my way through the newly opened area into the baggage claim. And you have to go back through the baggage claim to where it's like sorting the baggage, I believe. And another beautiful tank decides to spawn in. He quickly has his way with both of us, forcing us to restart, which is kind of rude, right? He could have at least taken us out to dinner or something first. After we, and by we, I mean I, since all my teammates are dead, we're down, make it through that beginning area and baggage claim, another tank decides to make his appearance. Unfortunately for that tank, I remembered how he treated me and my friends last time, so this time I give him the silent treatment and run past him, dodging his gifts, and go right into the safe room.
Alright, gas me up, and we can fly out of here. The pump's gonna make a real racket, so you make sure you're ready for a fight before you start her up.
If you've been paying attention, we beat the first 4 levels, so that means that we're now on the finale. And oh, what a finale this is gonna be. If you didn't hear during the intro clip, we have to fuel this airplane so the pilot who has locked himself inside can fly us to safety. But this was going to be anything but a simple task. There really is just not a good place to defend on this runway. We tried by the turret and the supplies and quickly found out that that was not a good area to defend. We tried on top of the fuel tank, which was also not a good idea either. It's really easy to get picked off by special infected there. And we also tried by this open area by the plane, which also did not work. To add to this challenge, there's a lot of open space with nowhere to kite the tank around safely, so if you're not careful, he can easily hit you with one of his rock throws. After 2 hours of failing, we finally found a good area to defend by the airplane. This turned out to be the best defensive area and also a good spot to cheese the tank because he kind of gets stuck going around the plane. So it gives you a lot of good chances to shoot him and chip away his health safely. We finally killed the tanks and the pilot lowers the ramp for us to get on. After 2 hours, we beat the campaign. Oh wait, I'm getting swarmed by zombies and can't make my way fully onto this plane. Help me, please help me. Yep, I go down and the plane takes off with just my buddy inside. Since I was down, I didn't get credit for beating the campaign, which is really a bummer. And I went to bed that night feeling like I might have an aneurysm. The next night though, we played the campaign again, and since I knew the levels like the back of my hand, we blew through them all pretty quickly. Even the finale only took us like 2 or 3 resets, and I finally made my way onto the plane and escaped alive this time, giving me credit for beating this expert campaign.
What?
I heard the military's got a safe zone north of here. We just gotta follow the train tracks.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We're now 75 100ths of the way done with our expert campaigns. We have just one to go. The one in question is Blood Harvest, and we begin this movie in the Allegheny Forest, looking for a military base on a farm. We make our way through the woods and to a factory where the safe room is. Easy start to a not so easy campaign. The second level, of course, starts in that same factory and sees us going through some more of that building and through a few more similar ones. Right up to start, I startle the witch, and of course she kills me because I can never seem to crown her an expert. Thankfully, my teammate's able to revive me, and we make our way through a train tunnel where a train is laying on its side. Didn't know, trains aren't supposed to do that. And the safe room was located a little further into the tunnel. We are now finished with 17 of 20 chapters. We are now into that dreaded third chapter. You already know the pattern here. This is where it starts to get hard. We quickly exit the train tunnel and are back in the forest. As soon as we get outside, we are greeted by the same vengeful tank whom I had rejected in the last campaign. He lets us know how he feels by quickly turning me and my teammates into some meat pancakes. Next time, we make it through the forest and past another building and back to the train tracks. With Zoe and Bill dead, we have to be careful here since we have limited help. I know even more limited than it was with just having 2, sometimes 3 bot teammates.
Look in this house real quick.
We run over to this building where our teammates have respawned in by the tracks, and we fuck up as soon as we enter and are quickly swarmed by infected and go down, causing us to restart. This time, we're able to release the brake on the train car, which then knocks over a wooden bridge we can now climb. After we go up the bridge, the safe room is just a little bit away. This chapter started off with a few friendly fire incidents, making us restart in the first 30 seconds. Now that we're done killing each other, we end up going through a barn with a bunch of dead your moms, and we go through another factory building where a hunter makes quick work of us. Next attempt, we make it back to train tracks that seem to be everywhere in this campaign, and run into the same tank as earlier. This time, we're fed up with his bullshit, put him out of his misery. When we make it into the building, we come across the scene that made me think of if Plants vs. Zombies is rated M. After we exit that same building, all we have to do is just cross this bridge with some train tracks and make it into the safe room inside of a train car. Okay, this is it. The final chapter, the final campaign. Finally, after many days and sessions of playing, we were at long last on the final level. We exit the safe room and climb a train car. Up ahead is a drop into a cornfield, where an unprepared player could easily be overwhelmed. Next time I get here, a tank is waiting for me. I set him on fire and try to run past him when he quickly swats me out of the air with some sort of 180 trick shot and downs me. We can now actually begin the finale. And this is one of the more challenging finales, and there was a lot of trial and error involved. We could not find, for the life of me, anywhere at all that was a good spot to defend. We tried downstairs in the house, but there were just too many spots where infected could reach you from. And we tried to camp the barn, which also proved to be very difficult. There was just too many spots that the infected could get you from as well. And later we tried one of the upstairs bedrooms where it only had 2 entrances, a window and a doorway. And that was a much better spot, and we spent the next few attempts in that spot since we seemed to be getting the farthest from there. To add to the pain, Molotovs and pipe bombs seemed to have a very low spawn rate and would almost never spawn in. The director was clearly working against us, and after a few more attempts, which turned out to be 2 or 3 hours of us trying this campaign, we decided to call it a night. I'm going to take a second here and just apologize right now and say I'm sorry, but when I came back, my capture card decided not to record any game audio. So maybe it was my fault, but you'll just have to bear with listening to my voice for the next few minutes. Now that we had those levels down, we blew through them and we're at the finale again. For these last few attempts, we tried a new tactic and tried hiding out in this bathroom for a group poop, and make our stand right there since there was only one entrance to the bathroom. This turned out to work like a charm, and the bots killed most of the infected before they even got to us. We only had to leave to kill the tank when I respawned in, and with both of them dead, the escape vehicle arrived, and we just have to get into the APC. And once we get in, I kill Lewis since he was taking his good old time getting in, and I didn't want to take any risks at all after all the hours we spent. I just wanted to get this campaign done. So yeah, I shoot him there and kill him. After many hours and at least 100 total restarts, we had unlocked the hardest achievement in the game. The rest should be a cakewalk, right? With the hardest achievement out of the way, I just needed the rest of the miscellaneous achievements. These range from feats you needed to accomplish in the campaign, such as surviving an entire campaign with only pistols, to various versus achievements. I didn't complete these in any particular order, but for most of these achievements, I boosted them with my friend Luck, because Left 4 Dead 1 is pretty much dead on Xbox Live. So I'll start off with this 3-fer that I got during the Crash Course campaign. So Wipe Fest was very easy. All you have to do is encap 3 survivors within 5 seconds in the Crash Course campaign. So once that rescue vehicle lowers, they all run into that confined space and make themselves vulnerable. So getting them all down in 5 seconds is pretty easy. And right after that, I got All for Dead, which was for killing all survivors as the tank. So I made sure to finish off the bots that I had downed because you need to or it won't count. And then went over to my friend and downed him. And right after that, I also got the Truck Stop achievement, which is also earned after killing everyone after escape vehicle has opened in Crash Course. So this all kind of went hand in hand, which was pretty nice. The next one here is Chain Smoker. For this, all I have to do is constrict 2 survivors in 1 life. And after that, we have Big Drag for pulling a survivor over 100 feet. 100 feet is out of the smoker's range, so you have to start the attack while a survivor is within your range and running away from you, so that tongue stretches and you can get that full 100 feet. Now we have to constrict a Boomer Bile covered survivor in the Crash Course DLC. This one's a little tricky because in Left 4 Dead 1 versus, you don't get any teammate or bot special infected whenever you play as the special infected, so I had to resort to using a second controller and keep spawning in with each of them until they got the right Smoker Boomer combo. Another tricky Chivo was Jumpin' Jack Smash. So you have to pounce a survivor for 25 points of damage in Crash Course. So when you jump off a platform or somewhere above like a survivor, you get impact damage. In order to get 25 points worth, you have to be high enough. After I found a good spot on the roof, right at the start of the first chapter of the campaign, I first killed the bot so I can pounce 2 survivors in 1 life for the double jump Chivo. And then I made a leap of faith and hit my teammate who set himself up for me for exactly 25 damage, earning me the achievement. Another easy one was Lamb to Slaughter. All you had to do was encap a survivor who has entered and left the safe room. 20 card pileup is almost self-explanatory. You just have to hit survivors with 20 cards. Strangely enough, dumpsters also count in Crash Course as the tank. So I would just keep hitting my teammates and letting them revive each other so I can get the maximum amount of incaps as the tank. Smash Hit was very easy because all I had to do was win a versus match on Crash Course, and playing against Luck was almost like playing against 4 bots. Thankfully, he was able to pull through with these upcoming campaign achievements, which were significantly easier having a friend to help with. Untouchables was definitely the hardest of them. For this aggravating achievement, no survivors can take damage after you contact a rescue vehicle in a campaign. No survivors, even the bots count. That's what made it so frustrating because they would go off on their own away from the group and get surrounded by some zombies or just not follow you and make this very annoying. Even on easy, this is challenging, but to our relief, it only took us a few tries. Dead air, finale, we got the achievement. Another annoying achievement that also relied on the bots cooperating was Safety First. For this one, you have to beat an entire campaign with no friendly fire incidents. You would think the hardest part was not being trigger happy and blasting your teammates, but it was actually preventing the bots from hurting us or each other because somehow they would shoot a gas can and run into the gas can and hurt us, avoiding the challenge. Even with just 2 chapters on Crash Course, it still took us a few tries because the bots still somehow managed to hurt each other every time. Luckily, when we did beat this challenge, we got another achievement, which was nothing special as well, for having no survivors take special inflicted damage in a campaign. These next two achievements I did myself, and they are in Kimbo Assassin, which was fun to do. You have to beat a campaign using only pistols, which is not challenging on easy, and it was kind of interesting just running through the campaign using only the pistol. Man vs. Tank was also not challenging on easy. All you have to do is kill a tank by yourself. So I switched difficulty to expert and then allowed my teammates, then put it back to easy to effortlessly kill this tank up here. The next three, I teamed back up with luck, and we loaded up the Sacrifice campaign for a few DLC achievements. These are also seen in Left 4 Dead 2, so you may have seen these in my last video. So for Chaos Generator, I did the same thing. I connected the second controller and counted down as my teammate and me on both controllers are all three generators at the same time. Barrel rolled, I just had to kill Luck with a exploding barrel while he was in a special infected. And Sacrifizzle, I had to encap someone trying to sacrifice themselves on the finale, which was pretty easy because you always spawn in as a tank at the end. These last two achievements were the super grindy ones I mentioned in the beginning of the video. The first of which was the Littlest Genocide, which was the less time consuming of the two, and only required me to kill 5,359 infected during the Crash Course campaign. That number is a direct reference to Dead Rising, if you didn't know. After all my playthroughs, I just needed about 2,500 more kills, so I just kept running the campaign on easy, shooting every car alarm, and letting every boomer puke on me to maximize the amount of kills I got. I get about 500 per playthrough, so it took me about 5 more playthroughs. And this last achievement of the video took me the longest to complete by a couple weeks. I had all the other 64 achievements except for this last one, and that one is Zombie Genocidist, which has you killing 53,595 infected, which is also another reference to Dead Rising. After completing every other achievement in the game, I only had about 19,000 of that 53,000 kills, which left me with 34,000 left to go. So I tried a bunch of different things. I tried playing survival and running through easy campaigns, but each playthrough I was only getting marginally closer to my goal, and I did not want to sit there for 40 hours every week getting this. So I found this cool AFK trick on the internet. All I had to do was load up the finale on No Mercy, throw a pipe bomb down a hallway, and go back into the safe room and tape my left trigger down while a boomer continuously puked on me from outside the safe room. With my trigger taped down, my character would continuously keep punching the zombies through the door and killing them. This still took a very long time. I'm not sure how long, but I'd guess between 15 and 20 hours. Yeah, like I said, I'm sorry, but it probably would have taken me twice as long, and I didn't want to play this game like a full-time job just for one achievement. I mean, if all you have to do is tape down a button on a controller, I'd still say I got this achievement legitimately. With 65 out of 65 achievements completed, I had now 100%ed Left 4 Dead 1. This was a very enjoyable experience from the start, and I can only hope a Left 4 Dead 3 one day gets made. No, Back 4 Blood does not count. Thank you everyone who watched the whole way through, and I would appreciate anyone new subscribing and hitting that subscribe button, and new and returning viewers and hitting that motherfucking like button. Let me know what you thought of the video by dropping a comment below, and I'd also like to give a special thanks to Sacred Luck for helping me get these achievements. It was fun doing them with him, and probably wouldn't have done this if we weren't doing it together. So until then, bye for now.